everybody. Welcome back. My name is Evan Manship. This is Brick by Brick, self-proclaimed, as literally 30 seconds ago, the non-podcast podcast here in beautiful Southern Broad Ripple, Manship Property Group and Midwest Cash Offer headquarters, joined by my close friend, Mr. Johnson. Talk to the people, man. Great to have you here. Back at the place once again.
I appreciate y'all having me. It's always good coming down here, being in B-Rip. I say down here because I'm in Fishers now, like I said earlier. But I don't get enough time down here, man. I love it over here. So a lot of my high school friends, they moved over in the area. So I met up with a couple of them at, Binkley's,
man.
Right,
Yeah, that's the spot, yeah.
And then I just started to notice, I'm like, there's so many fucking places down here, but I never come down here. So it's good to be down here, obviously. Man, nothing is up. I mean, it's the beginning of the year.
Business all right?
Business is good. We started December and January is really slow for us.
Yeah.
But
per usual, man. That's par for the course for real estate, folks. You know?
Absolutely. So February has actually started off really well. So got some nice stuff under contract here. I'm actually supposed to go to one when I leave here. So try to get it under contract as a referral lead. So we'll see how that goes.
As long as you're sending it to me, that's all I care
about. Definitely.
Tell the people, if you don't mind, give them kind of a quick refresh on what you do, your bread and butter, and kind of what your organization does now.
Okay, yeah, so we started out, we've kind of been all over the place, to be 100% honest, and if I were to advise you guys, don't do that. The shiny object syndrome is really what it really was. But we started out mainly wholesale. We're actually back to that now, mainly wholesale. And we went 2 to 3 years where we were just straight buy and hold, right? Barely did any flips. We were still doing wholesale deals, but maybe 15 a year or so, like not really just off of like, hey, we're just not going to take this down, let's just wholesale it. Yeah. And so in that time period, we purchased about 60 to 70 units, give or take, from 2020 to the end of 2022. I want to say that was the last rental property that we purchased.
Locked up all that financing, man, like good old.
We did actually.
We did. Worst thing.
That was the one thing that we did do that was good. But yeah, so right now, currently we're back to mainly wholesaling. Cool. We'll never turn that faucet off again. Yep. It doesn't make sense. And then we're trying to do more flips and hotel flips this year as we move into multifamily. We have our 10-unit building that we just finished up. We're getting rid of a lot of the headache rentals that we had, a lot of them. So that's kind of been, this year for us.
Cool. So wholesaling or more just lead gen, it sounds like. More opportunities to look at, come through, figure out what you're going to do with them once you got access to them.
Absolutely.
And moving out of rentals into multi-property or multi-unit type stuff.
Absolutely.
More focus and fewer things, it sounds like.
Absolutely.
I think it's interesting to hear you say that because frankly I share the same background, and I've told this on a handful of different instances. But man, like it's tough when you first start playing around and dipping your toes into different things. Well, yeah. Development and flips and land plays and land contracts and seller financing and buy and hold. I can go on and on.
Yep.
And man, it's tough to really figure out kind of where your niche is going to be and where makes the most sense. So it's interesting to hear some of his experiences. You say, trust me, been there. Ain't it?
It ain't it. My advice is always just find something that works. Get really, really good at that. Put the people in place, obviously, that you're able to delegate things to, and then go out and start to do your research on the next thing. Educate yourself first. Go to someone that's doing what you're looking to do, and maybe even partner with them on the first couple because hopefully they're the person in that industry that is what you are in your section. So that's my advice. Like anything we move into moving forward, like even if we do go new development and things of that sort, like I want to go and deal with somebody that's done 100 new developments. Like I don't want to, and actually they kind of take us through the ringer of, hey, this could happen, that can happen, etc. So I think that's something for us, with like we learned it with, like you said, land contracts, subject twos, seller finance stuff. We've done it all. And we've like, okay, now we're going to do this, and now we're going to do this. Now we're going to wholesale subject twos. So I mean, it just turned in. It's so many different things that you can do in this real estate space. I don't think people understand that once you're in it, the shiny object syndrome is crazy.
Well, I mean, it's hard to turn away from the first 10 seconds of some YouTube ad or Pace Mortgage up there yapping about this and the other thing. I've been there.
Shout out Pace.
Shout out Pace. And again, like, a lot of people know their stuff, but you'll come to find that people like Terone, myself, massively different backgrounds, same sentiment, where let's just get really, really zoomed in on something you're good at. Absolutely. And whatever, if we happen to find a development deal through our lead generation channel, if we happen to find a flip, my bugaboo is construction. If we happen to find something we need to start swinging hammers on, we'll figure it out later. So, speaking of background, I think this is interesting too. You've got a super unique background compared to most other folks, and myself included in the real estate space. So, I think you know which direction I'm going by the shoes you're wearing. But tell the people that don't know kind of what your background is like and how you're different.
So growing up, for one, we was a basketball family. So my dad, he played basketball. He got off into the wrong stuff. So I lost not lost him, but he went away when I was 8 years old. So I don't know if I told you that. But he went away when I was 8 years old. And so he didn't come back out of prison until I was 20 years old. So I was playing basketball at Purdue at this time. But he was a really good basketball player, got off into the wrong stuff. So just naturally, obviously, being here in the city and people knowing him and stuff like that, they started to really push me towards the basketball route. My mom knew nothing, but at a young age, I become really good, and kind of go up through the rankings and won state here at North Central and ended up playing at Purdue for a 4-year career, 4-year starter there. And that was fun, bro. It was very fun. But one thing I will say is I was really laser focused that I never thought about not playing basketball. Literally never. I know that sounds crazy to me now, right? And it sounds crazy to people that don't play. But these kids that's playing right now, all of them think they're going to the NBA. It's crazy though. But you do. When you're in the moment, you really feel like I'm actually going.
Yeah.
I'm going to, especially if you're a starter, if you all conference, all that stuff, and it's just there's only 60 picks, right? So.
Yeah, no matter if you're a state champion, D1,
it doesn't matter.
Not, man. 60 picks is 60
It doesn't matter. So just early on, I didn't even think about that. My parents, they owned properties before, stuff like that. Wasn't ever thinking even in the real estate realm. Basically just took the easiest thing in school that I could basically take that I didn't have to do too much work so I can actually get through college. But that's exactly what ended up happening. And I think nowadays it's a lot more zoomed in as to what they can do, and obviously, they're getting paid now.
Yeah, that's
so
nice.
They get $100,000 a year. I'm like, man, that's crazy. But so yeah, that's kind of my background. Went and played professional basketball overseas, and that's actually where I kind of came into the love of real estate. Was I don't know if I ever said this either.
No, I'm learning all the fun stories now, man.
So I'm overseas. I'm in Greece,
okay,
by the way. So they pay for your living expenses. They pay for your car, all of that stuff while you're there. So that's cool. So it sounds so great, but then you're there alone, and it's 12 hours difference, 14-hour difference. So all I'm doing is up at night watching shows and stuff like that. Sons of Anarchy, just trying to just chilling. I'm like, well, what am I gonna do with the money that I get when I get home? And so that's when I was just going through different stuff. Happened to be on World Star Hip Hop.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Looking through crazy ass videos, and Young Jeezy was sponsoring this dude named Jay Morrison at the time to put out a real estate course, and I was like, oh, let me check this out. I like Jeezy. So I start to watch it, and the guy is talking about basically wholesale real estate, and I'm like, well, what's that? Whatever. So I start to get addicted to the videos. He had a couple YouTube videos, and he was doing some flips and stuff like that too. So I ended up joining the program while I was overseas.
No kidding.
Ended up being able to speak to the guy and stuff. He was pretty cool. I think he still got stuff going today. Never actually met him, but it definitely it spiked my interest in real estate for sure. I didn't really follow through with it and start wholesaling or anything then. That was 2014, 2015. So I come back home. I had some money. My mom, she actually put down on a property to buy on a land contract or something of that sort. It was really a lease option. So I put the money down to catch her up. She got behind on it. I put the money down, and we're gonna fix this property up and sell it, right? Because I see it can be a lot of profit here. You only owe what? Oh, okay, yeah. You can sell it for $140. You only owe $30,000. Okay, cool. So I put about maybe $15,000-$20,000 of my money that I made over there into this by catching up the payment and putting the work into the property, only to find out that, like, basically that the loan was due, the full entire loan was due, like, next month, right? So I ended up losing all my money. I mean, these days I wouldn't have lost it for sure, because I would have found a way out of it. But but I lose my money, and I'm like, what? And I'm begging this lady, by the way.
This is the owner.
The owner. Yeah. And she's like, no.
Yeah, tough.
It's due at the end of this month, and if you don't, I'm taking my house back. Like, it's as simple as that.
You probably know that address, don't you? You got to.
I don't even remember the address.
Oh my God, I would have that tattooed on my back.
Man, I don't remember the address. I do know that it was Washington Township, 71st Street. I do know that.
Well, damn.
Yeah, so it was
probably
up
worth a
there.
pretty penny nowadays, isn't
It is. So learned my lesson there, obviously, but I did look at it as a lesson. I was like, man, had I did that right, and had I known that, first of all, why did my mom tell me? But had I known that, then I would have went in with a different type of, obviously a different plan, and I would have made a lot of money on it, actually,
right, yeah.
on the sale of it. So I was like, I'll get back to that later, right? And I ended up moving out to California at that time. So with my wife and stuff like that, got a job, but I still had that itch for real estate, bro. I don't know what it was, like even with y'all, like what was your what was the itch for you, like?
mine's a little bit different. Honestly, my story is boring, and I've got 1,000 different times I've told it. But you've got such a cool background. That's an awesome story. Thank you. That's something I always ask everybody. Like, and maybe that's not your answer, but everyone has that deal that kind of just like really flips a switch. You know what I mean? And it's like, where the hell did that go wrong? Or what? Or my personal favorite that never happened to me. How did that go so right? What did I do so well that you just knock it out of the park? And we've had a handful of those since, obviously. But man, the one that started us was 1145 Linden Street. I lost $47,000 on my first flip. Liquidated everything that I had. Still living with mom and dad, like just everything. Man,
And you lost it?
Yeah. Well, Clay and I did. My partner and I. But yeah, we lost every penny we had. We went out to that Mexican place on the corner of Fountain Square and drank our ass off when we were done with the thing, because at least it was over.
Right,
The nightmare was over.
Yeah.
And yeah, you thought that wasn't bad, man. That was bad news. So everyone's got that story. And before I bore anyone with my really lame story, my lame background, comparatively speaking, I'm curious if you have an address that sticks out to you. Like, what the hell was I doing, good or bad?
Man, it's got to be that one for sure. And I'm mad that I can't remember the address of it. It's definitely got to be that one, man. Like that had me. Mind you, I'm overseas. I'm probably making $70,000. I just had a kid. Like, why was I even dumping all this money into this? I'm just like, I just know that I should be putting it into real estate. Like, that was really my only, like, I didn't have no guidance behind it, right? One of my teammates at Purdue had just became a realtor. I had him look it up for me. Hey, he wasn't even in Indianapolis. He was up in Lafayette. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, hey, look up what you think this could sell for. He's like, yeah, I think it could. You know how new agents are. Shout out to you, DJ Bird. But that one has to be the one for me, man, because I just lost so much of I needed that money so bad. Like, once I was done with that, I didn't know. I started working at I started working with like kids doing like counseling, like right after that, like just because I was like, what do I do? Like, right. I'm really strapped for cash before I go back overseas or whatever. And then I ended up putting the ball down, and I was like, now I'm gonna go out to California and just figure it out. Like, so yeah, I think that one has to be mine, man. I'll call it the 71st Street Nightmare. 71st Street Nightmare. There's your title for the Brick by Brick, 71st Street Nightmare. I guess maybe to run it full circle, like everyone's got that address, and for those of you just kind of getting started, laying your first brick down, it's cool if the first one breaks. In fact, I'd encourage it. I think the people that really get themselves in the hot water are the people that kind of nail the first handful of deals. Yeah.
And we started our group in 2014, And there were worse times to buy real estate than 2014, where you can buy a nice house for 30 grand. That's what we did. So I highly encourage you to go and learn while you're young and stupid and broke, like I was, like Terone was. Make your mistakes, learn your lesson, cut your teeth, get your scars, and like I said in the last episode, and something I'll always say is fear the man with no scars, right? Fear the wholesaler without the experience. Fear the broker without having lost his back on a flip before. Same with the manager, same with your parents. I mean, anyone who can't prove to you they've screwed up and royally is someone to kind of keep your hands away from. And that's just advice from someone who's been there and done
I'll
that.
agree. Let me just speak to that too, because man, that's what I teach my two younger brothers. Like, they tell me, hey man, this guy, he's talking about this trucking company or whatever, and they telling me all this good stuff. Oh, he made this last month. Oh, I said, so he just said this is just a perfect business, huh? I don't care what it is. Like, where's the bad stuff? Like, I don't care about the good stuff. Tell me about the bad stuff. Tell me the negative of getting into this business, right? And I think that's something, like, for us, even with the investors that we deal with now, like, I think that's what brings them in even closer to us. Like, it's more of a transparency thing, right? If I'm getting into any business and everybody is telling me that it's just glitz and glamour, I'm cool.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good. Like, this is not somebody that I want to deal with. Because either they just had everything go well, so they don't even know how to deal with the negativity that comes with it, or they're lying, you know? And they're portraying that everything is just so peaches and cream. You know what I'm saying?
Glitz and glamour, peaches and cream. There's a lot of truth to that. A lot of truth to that. And when you're first getting started, it's really easy to get attracted to that. And nothing against the coaching courses or the programs or whatever.
Right.
Again, huge fan of it. But again, like $250 for a class or $2,000 for a class or whatever, different than casually shredding $20, $30, $40, $50,000 that you're never going to see again. If you're going to get a scar, let's start with a baby scar and maybe not one big massive one on your back that's never going to go away. So, I mean, jump in with both feet, but kind of always have your head on a swivel. If you don't have your scars, let's earn them slowly but surely. So by the time you're good, marred up, and your ass looks like ground beef, that's when you know you're a solid investor and you can start making bigger and better decisions, like your group is now. Your team, maybe talk to me about who's their team, what it used to look like, and what do you want it to look like by the end of the year?
So now we have, right now we have we have dispositions, acquisitions. So we have 2 people in dispositions. We have a disposition manager, and then we have a dispositions assistant. So on that side of things, we actually do JV and just the dispositions of the acquisition deals.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So, so we kind of put in a process for JV. And it's worked really well, cool. Actually. So, and a lot of those are like guys like, you know, that's really new in the business. We're helping them. We're teaching them how to go through a deal, how to get stuff. I mean, you wouldn't believe, these people are in other people's programs, by the way. And like we just got done talking about, like I said, I don't talk down upon it either, but some people are just teaching just the basics of it, and they paying a pretty penny for it, bro. Like, it's one lady that we dealing with now that she paid at least $10,000 in courses and stuff like that, and I'm like, I don't know how, like basically I'm just teaching you a course at this point. Like, you don't know anything yet. You know what I'm saying? So I think they get something out of it, obviously, from us being able to, from our disposition rep being able to really help them through the process. But also those are leads that we would have never gotten,
right?
You know, so they're bringing us good deals, and so his job is to do that, and also sell deals at the same time. We have 3 acquisition reps now.
Good for you.
So that's been going well, and just I think this year, well, over the past 2023, our biggest thing was to get our KPIs correct. Like, let's turn this thing into a real flowing engine, like, and so that was a big thing for us. So we got all of that together. This year is really just getting the key players in the key seats. Like, we feel like we have that now, and by the end of this year, you know, we're looking to, I think for us, by the end of this year, we're actually looking to just keep 2 acquisition reps, cool, and really have them really run it up for us, and then, you know, if we decide to go into other markets is when we want to actually rev that up for us. So I think by the end of this year, marketing wise, we want to add a couple channels, marketing, but also we want to jump into another Midwest market as well.
Well, come hang out, man. It's the water's fine. The water's fine in Louisville, Kentucky. I can tell you that.
I heard, man.
It's an interesting thing, but something I'll pipe in here with, and maybe it's something you're alluding to, is bigger isn't always better. Been there.
Yeah.
I was the kid when I was growing up where I thought I was going to be a professional basketball player because I've been this height since I was 12. So when you're just growing like a weed, and the doctor says you're going to be 6'8" and 220, and you're going to be this big boss hog of a power forward or whatever, and then you just stop growing vertically and start growing horizontally. Shit gets weird, right? And you kind of got to learn real fast. Like, okay, we got to curtail this. We're going to get really unhealthy really quick. And that's the same applies to business organization.
Yeah.
So I've been the lean mean machine. I've been the big fat guy, and now just trying to find that perfect size of what looks like. I think that applies to all people first getting started. You don't want to jump in and earn your first scar spending $20 grand on direct mail and not have the KPIs or the infrastructure in place to effectuate money from it. So small boo-boos, okay. Large boo-boos, not okay. You don't want to get yourself to the point where you're, for my bad metaphor, morbidly obese and can't recover from it. So, been there. So, yeah, I encourage everyone, baby steps, understand that your background can lead to your success.
Mm-hmm.
Take where you're at right now. And Terone did this, and I did it as well, probably on accident. But I was never the hyper athlete. I didn't get burned right away from my first house. But I took my situation, and we really kind of learned, okay, here's where we can be different. I'm an identical twin, right? How many people have a baked-in business partner everywhere they go?
Right.
And they've been that way for 33 years. It's tough. I mean, I didn't ask for it. It's gonna happen, right? But that's an easy thing for me to do. So how do you take things like that and make the most out of them with your life? I'd encourage everyone to take that away as maybe a piece of homework and think, that's how I can get started and hopefully start laying your first brick.
Absolutely.
Terone, thanks so much for hanging out, man. If people want to get a hold of you and talk to you about maybe a deal or getting together for a beer or whatever, how do people find you on the interwebs?
Let's go Instagram. Instagram legacy_TEE. And then on YouTube, we have a YouTube channel, Moguls in the Making, where we do have our podcast as well. If you want to reach out to me about any deals or anything of that sort, it's Terone, TERONE at LHBindy.com. Yeah, and that's about it.
Rock on,
It's a
man.
pretty dope show, man. I appreciate y'all for having me.
We'll do it again. Maybe I'll bring Amari by next time. We'll make it a real show.
Yeah.
Terone at LHBindy.com. Again, Evan with Brick by Brick with Mainstay Property Group. We'll see you guys next time.